Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I want to show you how to set up your mouthpiece in your reed and start playing the saxophone for the very first time. This is for total beginners that have never had a saxophone lesson or anything like that. First of all, you're going to need a reed. And by the way, this is for an alto saxophone mouthpiece. You're going to need a good reed. I would recommend a 2.5 or a medium soft 2.5 strength reed. You're also going to need a mouthpiece. And make sure you're probably using like a hard rubber or plastic. Hard rubber is the best for beginners. This happens to be a Meyer 7. I use it for jazz, but you can talk to your private lesson teacher or send me a message for more suggestions on what kind of mouthpiece to start on. And you're going to need a ligature to hold the reed on with. So the first thing we want to do is make sure our reed is nice and saturated. I use saliva. I keep my reeds in a high moisture container, but you can also keep them in a reed case. But your reed has to be wet on both ends, so you can put it in a cup of water. If you're grossed out by your own spit, you can put it in a cup of water. Both ends of the reed need to be wet. Okay. Next, your mouthpiece should be clean, and make sure you are washing this out every couple of days to keep the germs out of there and stuff. Now, assuming you have a good reed and a good mouthpiece, that should happen. When you stick the mouthpiece on the bottom, when you stick the reed on the bottom of the mouthpiece, it should stick. That moist reed should just stick on there because both surfaces should be perfectly flat. If they're not, it's not going to do that, and you probably need a new mouthpiece or a better reed. All right, we got our reed on there. I like to hold it on there with my thumb, and then very carefully put the ligature over the tip of the mouthpiece, like so, without damaging your very expensive reeds. And then we're going to adjust the reed. Okay, first of all, make sure your ligature is not sitting too far over the edge here. So if you need to adjust the screw, we want it back. We want the ligature to sit back beyond this little lip right here. And on the bottom, the screw should be like so. Now, where do you put your reed, right? Okay, if you put your reed too far up like that, the reed will not be able to vibrate, and it's not going to sound like anything. Now, if you put it down too far like this, the same thing's going to happen. You're going to have some big problems with your sound. I like to put it just a fraction of an inch, I guess you would say, over the tip of the mouthpiece from when viewed at this angle. I think you can see that there. The idea is when the reed vibrates, it's going to close off the tip of the mouthpiece, so it needs to be just almost perfectly even. Some people go with perfectly even with the tip of the mouthpiece. I have it sticking out a little bit this way. So I want to hold that in place now, and then tighten my ligature screws, but not too tight, because if it's too tight, it will not vibrate. And as you're tightening these, you might have to make some fine-tune adjustments. So not too tight. That's pretty good. Now, it should sound like a baby duck when you blow onto it. All right, so there we have it. Now, please watch my next video on making your first sound and everything. And thanks for watching. All right.